to the channel and another video where I'm going to give you 5 lie detection secrets that interrogators use to know when criminals are lying. And you can use this in your day-to-day life, in social situations, to know when someone's trying to lie to you. I'm also going to show you real live footage of people on television and in the news so I can really demonstrate and you can spot and see exactly what these signs and symptoms look like. Now, I want to start with one of those clips because I want you to see how even without learning any of the techniques that we're looking at today, for most of you, your intuition is strong enough to just sense when something feels off. You may not know exactly why, but our minds have evolved over millions of years, and we have a natural ability to sense when something feels deceptive, and this is a really great example. This is a clip from the news recently of a missing child, and this is the interview of his stepmother. I don't want to go into any more details than that. I'll leave information in the description. You can look into it. Honestly, what she did disgusts me, and I very rarely look at something on the news and go, I can pretty much guarantee this person is being deceptive. But this is a case where I instantly knew because there's just too many signs. Take a look.
And we're going to continue to search until we find him.
What do you think? Where do you think he could be?
Somewhere with... not with us. And that's the important thing, is that he is not with us and we need to bring him back to us. At this point, we don't know. All we can do is keep searching and doing, everything we've been doing.
Tell me about your relationship. Did he call you mom? Did he, or at least...
Super mommy. That was his choice. It wasn't forced. We didn't force him because I don't want to force that. But he used to call me super mommy. He also knows that how much I care about him and everything that I've been doing for him and have done for him. So.
I'm sure that a lot of you, like me, had a hard time looking at that. There's just so much about it that feels off. Now, always remember, when we're looking for lies or deception, we're looking for a cluster of behaviors. There isn't a single symptom on this planet that a behavior analyst or an interrogator is going to look at and go, oh, the person's lying because they did this one thing. That's just a lie that's mostly spread by movies and Hollywood and TV shows. But in reality, we have to observe multiple things happening at the same time, and that raises our confidence that deception is taking place. We're never 100% sure. It just raises our confidence. And in this case, she has so many symptoms going on. I can't possibly cover them all, but I want to teach you 5 big ones. So we're going to start with the first one, which is called a resume statement or a convincing statement. This is when the liar, instead of answering the question, instead of talking about the topic at hand, takes the opportunity to build their character up, talk about themselves, talk about how they're a super mom and how all the things they did for the person and are doing for the person, and build their character up, because someone like this, a super mom, would never lie. So in that footage, we definitely saw some of those convincing statements at the end, where instead of talking about what's so important here, which is this missing child, she's on the news, she should be begging people to come to his rescue. She's building herself up and talking about how she's this super mom and smirking and smiling about it. So that is not just the convincing statement itself, but how inappropriate it is in this interview is a huge sign of deception in that case. Okay, now we're going to move on to the second lie detection technique. And the moment I tell you this, you can go back and watch that clip again, and you're going to immediately see it on her and you won't be able to unsee it. But before we get to that, do me a huge favor, guys. Hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on for more amazing psychology content. The second lie detection technique we're going to be looking at today is blink rate, the number of times the person is blinking. Now, your average human being blinks 16 times per minute. That's the average. Some people a little more, some people a little less. That's totally natural. In fact, most of the time, an interrogator wants to observe someone before they start asking the tough questions to see their baseline, to see how many times they blink naturally in a minute. But for most people, it's about 16. Now, when we're really interested in something, when something attracts us, interests us, that blink rate slows down because we want to take as much as we can in, so our eyes widen, we're really staring, and that blink rate slows down. But when we're stressed or anxious, which is usually what happens when we're being deceptive, our blink rate goes up, way up. And if you look at the video of this woman, especially towards the end, she is blinking at an insane rate. There are a lot of blinks per minute there. The third lie detection technique is something that right now I'm going to tell you actually how to look out for. And if you apply this, you're really going to start noticing when people are trying to be deceptive with you. And it's called failure to answer. So whenever you ask someone a question and they give you an answer, stop for a second and ask yourself, did that answer my question? And did it answer my entire question? Or were they focusing on a specific part of it and leaving something else out? I want to show you guys a really great example of this from the hit TV series Shark Tank. So this is a show, for those of you who don't watch it, where entrepreneurs try to sell a part of their business to some investors. And in this case, there was someone who seemed like he wasn't really willing to negotiate. So one of the sharks, Damon John, you're going to see the gentleman who's sitting down, asks him if he's willing to give them a discount. Take a look at his answer.
Because shark money is better than other money.
So you're charging us more than your sales because we're sharks?
I'm prepared to give you a discount because you guys are sharks.
Can you give a discount?
I'm the CEO of the company and I'm here to make a deal.
So the guy mentioned the word discount as a way to pull them in. But Damon John was a little skeptical about that, and rightfully so. So he asked, can you give a discount? Can you actually do that? And his answer was, I'm the CEO of this company and I'm here to make a deal. Well, really stop and think about that. Does that answer the question that was asked? Can you give a discount? The answer is yes or no. But he says, I'm the CEO of this company. Notice, once again, we have that resume statement. I'm the CEO, building himself up, and I'm here to make a deal. That doesn't answer the question. Also, there's a few other signs here that he's being deceptive, one of which is pacifying. This is something I've talked about on the channel before. Self-soothing gestures. Anything where it looks like we're massaging or doing something repetitive, this is a way to calm ourselves down, and he's definitely doing that. I don't think this guy's a huge liar. I just think he's a little nervous about the idea of a discount. I don't think he's willing to offer a discount, or that he doesn't have the ability to. Speaking of a failure to answer, let's go back to the woman with the missing stepson and look at one of the weirdest failures to answer that I've ever seen in my life.
What do you think? Where do you think he could be?
Somewhere with not with us. And that's the important thing, is that he is not with us and we need to bring him back to us.
What the hell was that? Like, what kind of an answer is that? First of all, it completely fails to answer the question, which is a very simple question. Where is he now? Not where is he not now? Because she goes, he's not with us. Yeah, well, he's also not in the house. He's also not in the yard. He's also, like, why are you answering where he's not? And then there's that weird sort of, he's with, pause, think, and then give an answer. I honestly, when I first saw that, one of two things came to mind. I was like, she was either going to slip up and say he's with God, evoking religion because she knows he's no longer with us, or she was about to give up the fact that she has an accomplice and that the kid is with that person right now. And later, it was revealed after an investigation that she indeed have an accomplice. Now, throughout her interview, not only does she fail to answer, but there's a lot of other symptoms of things she's doing to divert the conversation down a different path. And I covered a lot of these on my other video with 5 other signs of deception, which some of you may have seen, but if you're new to the channel, I'll leave a link in the description to that one too. It's not a part 1. It complements this video because they both have a bunch of signs and there's no real order to that. But for those of you who watched that video, let me know in the comments, there are 3 symptoms from that video that we see here. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see if you guys are starting to put it together and starting to see all these different signs that this woman is completely making up this entire story. Okay, for tip number 4, we are going a little bit south of the eyes and we are looking at the mouth, because tip number 4 is lip compression. Now, there are two ways you might see somebody's lips thin out. One of them is compression. It looks like this. It's when they just tighten the lips. And the second one is lip retraction. That is when the lips go inside the mouth like that. They are both indicators of deception that you can add to your cluster. Again, remember, nothing means anything in and of itself. But with other symptoms, these both work as deception indicators, but for different reasons. The thinning of the lips is when we either said something we shouldn't have said or are thinking about saying something that we don't want to say. We're literally creating tightness there to keep the words in our mouth. And again, if we look at the woman in the video, very often, you can go look at the whole video, very often her lips are thinning out. And it's almost always as she's about to say something and she's sort of contemplating how to put it, or she just said something and she's going, I shouldn't have said that, which is something we often do. We even say that, we go, I shouldn't have said that. It's literally trying to keep the words inside. The fifth sign of deception is not like the other four. It's not a specific thing that you're looking for, and once you see it, you add to your cluster. It's something that with time, you're going to start noticing it more and more, and with experience, you're going to start to recognize when it's happening. And it's called inconsistencies. Inconsistency actually means two things. One, an inconsistency within the person's story. So something they say, and later on, a contradiction that doesn't quite add up with that other fact. And the second thing is an inconsistency from what you would expect a person who's telling the truth to do or say in a setting like this. And this is where experience kicks in a lot. To demonstrate the first one, an inconsistency within their own story, I'm going to bring back someone who's just a star on this channel, because this is a clip where you see so many signs of deception that it should be a case study for deception. The full link will be in the description, but this is a guy on the show Cops who was pulled over and just spiraled downhill. So please welcome back to the channel, my buddy and yours, Faisal.
Is he staying at the hotel here?
No, he came to meet someone over here, so I'm just here to pick up my wallet because I forgot my wallet in his car.
Is your ID in this wallet that you said your friend had, or?
That's not my ID, that's my vehicle sales license.
I can see a driver's license
Pull it out,
right
you'll
here?
see it. You can pull it out.
Okay. And while I'm here,
Yeah.
what is this?
I have no clue. Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh, Faisal. What a disaster. Let's take a close look at what happened in that clip. Amongst a cluster of signs of deception, let's focus on this inconsistency. So he himself said the reason he was there was to get his wallet from his buddy. Then they get him out of the car, they look in the car door, and his wallet's right there. So, I mean, and there's no, like, he doesn't address it like, oh, there it is, or, oh yeah, well, I have two wallets. I don't know what it is, but there's an inconsistency there. He's there to pick up a wallet, yet the wallet is in his car, so the story falls apart. An interrogator would take note of that and either immediately or a little bit later on, dig a little deeper there. Is it enough to know for sure the guy's lying about everything? No, it's just a little red flag to put there, like a little pin, and say, okay, well, there's something here, we gotta dig deeper. The second type of inconsistency is something that I'm a really big fan of and that I look for whenever I feel someone's being deceptive. And basically the way it works is this. Stop for a second and ask yourself, if this was a truthful and honest situation, what would it look like? What would happen? And try to see how close what's happening is to that. By the time the cop had him out of the car, we don't see him, but we could hear him. He's at least 10 feet away from the car. Then the police officer removes the wallet, and under it he finds, I don't know, like a glass, I guess it was like a glass pipe or something. And he asks him, okay, while I'm here, what is this? And Faisal goes, I have no clue. Oh my God, like immediately. Now think about it. If you were 10 feet away from your car, it was dark, and somebody pulled this little glass thing out of your the pocket on the side of your door and said, what is this? You wouldn't immediately have an answer for that. It doesn't make any sense. It's extremely inconsistent with the way things would actually happen. you would need to be like, first of all, I'd be like, can I see what that is so I could tell you what it is? Like, what is that? But from a distance, he immediately defaults to going, I have no clue. Oh my God. Like, he knows what it is. He's basically telegraphing that he absolutely knows what it is. So now let's go back to the stepmom and look at how far she deviates from what would be normal in this situation. And this is probably the reason a lot of you, without knowing any of the techniques, noticed something is off here. First of all, let's look at her emotional range. The first thing that stands out to me is her eyebrows. In an attempt to fake sadness, she's faking anger by mistake, and there's a very good reason for that. When we're angry, our eyebrows come down and close together, and that activates a lot of muscles in this area, the lower forehead between the eyes. This is where anger is shown. When we're sad, our eyebrows don't go down, they go up. But here's the crazy thing. It's not the whole eyebrow that goes up, it's the inner corners of the eyebrow that goes up, and the outer part stays down. This is something that's really, really hard to fake. Very few people can actually do this, which causes your grief muscle to activate. That is a muscle here at the top of the forehead. So when someone's sad, we're gonna see a lot more activity up here and a lot less down there. What's happening with her is she's saying to herself, look sad, but she's done no research into what sadness looks like. So she's trying to do this sad thing, which is really hard to do, but actually doing anger. She looks angry. Now, would you be angry if someone was missing? Absolutely, you would. But in this context, she has this forced anger, which to me is 100% a sign of deception. Another thing is she keeps smirking. If you're on the news talking about someone that's missing, someone that you love, someone that you want back, how often would you smile? And finally, probably the biggest inconsistency is the entire message of what she's saying. If you're given an opportunity to go on the news and your community is listening to you and your child is missing, the only thing you would be concerned about is begging the viewers to help you. You would say, here's what he looks like, here's what he likes, here's what he sounds like. You might see him doing this. He answers to this name. Please help us. If you've seen anything, here's the number to call. We need help, guys. Time is of the essence. But she's there talking about, we're going to keep doing what we've been doing. Okay, so you're going to keep doing the things that haven't worked. And then she's saying, oh, super mommy, I'm super mommy. Is this really the time to talk about how you're this amazing super mommy? Get to the point. Get this kid back. So anybody who's looking for someone would passionately cry for help. Let me know in the comments, what else about what you saw in her behavior would you say is inconsistent with what you would expect a grieving step-parent to say, or how they would look, or what their energy would be? What other inconsistencies are you seeing? Let me know in the comments. I'm really excited to hear from you.